Just hit a button, Morty. Give me a beat.
Oh man, okay, all right.
I don't know what I have on this mask. I forgot. No students are here anymore, so I can take it off. Okay, so season 2, unit 2, body systems functions. Okay. Oh, let me make myself big again. When does the 6 weeks end? This week. When the last time I'm taking late work? The 14th. So play yourself if you want to. Play yourself if you want to, but I will not accept it. Okay. Make sure that you get it in by my due date, because I'm not spending my weekend grading all of y'all stuff that's late. No, get it into me ASAP. All right, let's get into it. So, humans and other complex multicellular organisms have systems of organs that work together, carrying out processes that keep us alive. So these are some of the systems right here. So this is what a person could look like. There's a skeletal system, there's a muscular system, a circulatory system, a nervous system, a digestive system, and we'll learn about some other ones today. All right, so we have systems of organs that work together, carrying out various processes that keep us alive. And so essentially season 2, unit 2 is all about learning about what those organs do, what they're called, and how they help keep us alive. Okay? The next unit, unit 3, is going to be about plant body systems. So here it is once again, levels of organization. It's infamous. I told you, biology is the type of subject where everything is going to come back. It's all connected. So here it is again. So individual is going to be one living thing. An individual organism is one living thing. Well, if we have multiple living things that are the same species, we call that a population. So for example, all of you watching this right now, you are considered a population because you are all humans. You're all the same species. Okay, when we talk about something that's living, but there are different species, then that's going to be called a community. So a community is going to be different species. While whenever we talk about something that is living and something else that is non-living in the same area, then that's going to be an ecosystem. So an ecosystem includes things like temperature and rocks and water. That's an ecosystem. While the biosphere is the entire Earth, right? Bio means life. Sphere is the globe, Earth, right? The Earth is biosphere. However, there are actually things that are smaller than individual organisms. So think about yourself. We like to think of ourselves as a complete thing, right? Like we're all one thing. But actually, we're made up of billions and billions of little pieces put together that makes us, right? We're not just one entity. We are actually billions and billions of things put together. Kind of like how the biosphere, the whole Earth, right? We can think about the whole Earth, or we could think about an individual ecosystem. We could even think about an individual community or a population or an individual. Right? So we can start really big and complex and get smaller and smaller and smaller. And in the past, we've stopped at organism, but now we're getting deeper into biology. We're learning there's actually things that are smaller than an individual organism. Okay, so this is organism, that level, right? We learned from this level up to population, community, and all of that. Well, today we're going to learn about what's back here, what's actually smaller than an organism. So the very smallest unit of life is called the cell, okay? All living things are made up of cells. Cells are the smallest unit of life. So an example of that could be a neuron, right? A neuron is just a name for a nerve cell. Another example of a cell could be a muscle fiber. Muscle fibers are nerve cell, or muscle fibers are also called muscle cells, okay? A cell is the smallest unit of life. When I have again, all living things are made up of cells. Are plants made up of cells? Yes. Plants are living. All living things are made up of cells. Are bacteria made up of cells? Yes, bacteria are cells. What about fungi? Yes, everything that is living is going to be made up of cells. Okay? Plants are complex multicellular organisms with body parts that have functions just like you. Okay? And plants also have organs. So fun fact, we'll learn about this later, like I said, in unit 3. But just, fun fact, is that fruits are actually reproductive organs of plants. They're actually ripened ovaries. They're products of fertilization, okay? We'll talk about that, like I said, after we finish animal body systems. So, multiple cells in one area that do the same thing, it's called a tissue. So a group of cells that do the same thing is called a tissue. So you ever heard about nervous tissue, muscular tissue, right? Kidney tissue. That just means multiple cells that have the same job. Okay? Multiple tissues is called an organ. So your brain is an organ, right? Your muscle, that's an organ. Kidneys, the stomach, the spleen, the heart, those are all organs. They're groups of tissues, which are groups of cells, right? They're living things. We have what's called an organ system. So it's pretty self-explanatory. If you know an organ is multiple tissues, and an organ system is going to be multiple organs that have the same type of job, right? So an example of an organ system is a nervous system, the muscular system, the skeletal system, right? These are all different systems. So a group of organs makes up an organ system, right? And then, of course, I put in all of our last ones that we've already learned: the organism, population, community, ecosystem, and biosphere, right? So again, we've already learned about these. Now we're going to get even smaller. So which would you say is the most complex? Would you say a cell is the most complex, or would you say that the biosphere is the most complex? Exactly. A cell is really, really small. You, me, we are made up of billions of cells, literally billions with a B, billions of cells, right? While the biosphere, I can't even count however many cells are in the biosphere. That's every living thing, right? So that's going to be way more complex than a little bitty cell. So let's just recap again, because levels of organization is very important. So the biosphere is the whole Earth. An ecosystem is the living and non-living. A community is multiple species in one area. A population is going to be the same species in one area, while an organism is an individual living thing. An organ is a number of tissues that have a particular job. So for example, your brain is an organ. It has a particular job. The brain's job is to control the rest of the body. Your heart is an organ. The heart's job is to pump blood to the rest of the body, right? So an organ has a specialized task. While a tissue is just a group of cells that have a common structure and function. And then, of course, the cell, the infamous cell, is the smallest unit of a living thing. So one thing to note is that over here, these are like animal examples. And over here, these are plant examples. Because plants and animals are both complex, multicellular, as in they're made up of more than one cell. Okay? So make sure that you know that. Here's another example of what this can look like. So we start off with the cell. This is a cell from the intestine. Multiple of these cells put together in one area with a specialized function is going to be called a tissue. Multiple tissues next to each other with a specialized function is called an organ, right? Multiple organs that have a specialized function, an organ system. And then those organ systems work together to make up the organism, you. All right, so look at this right here. We have cell, tissue, organ, organ system, organism. Again, which is the most complex? Of course, the organism is going to be the most complex. It's the biggest out of these. All right, out of these two options, which of these is ordered from least to most complex? Exactly, the muscle fiber cell, the bicep muscle, the muscular system. Good job. All right, so let's get into organ systems, aka how exactly your body works. So what is an organ again? An organ is going to be multiple tissues working together to perform a specific function. So again, that's your heart, your lungs, stomach, the skin, the brain, your spine. These are all organs. Organs work together to perform a specific function, right? Our heart works together to pump blood everywhere. Our lungs work together so we can breathe. Our stomach tissues work together so we can digest food, and our skin tissues work together to protect us from the outside world. Okay, so an organ is something that protects or something that works together to perform a specific function. So here's all the systems: reproductive, integumentary, skeletal, muscular, nervous, circulatory, endocrine. I'm not going to go through all of them. But yes, this is all of the systems. Okay, so humans and other complex multicellular organisms have systems of organs that work together, carrying out processes to keep us alive. We need to have muscles in a muscular system. We need to have a nervous system, our brain and our spinal cord. We have to have skin, an integumentary system. We have to have all of them because they all work together to keep us alive. Okay, the body has levels of organizations that build on each other. Cells make up tissues, tissues make up organs, and organs make up organ systems, and that organ systems make up organisms. The function of an organ system depends on the shared function of its organs. So for example, the digestive system, right? The digestive system, the stomach, spleen, mouth, esophagus, all of those things work together to process your food so you can get nutrients from your food. The survival of an organism depends on the interactions, right? To interact. So they're going to work together between all of the organ systems. All are important. Can you live without your brain? No. Can you live without skin? No. You have to have all of them because they all have an important job and they all have to interact and work together to do anything. Okay, so for the rest of class, what you're going to do is called a web quest. So in the virtual notebook, you're going to see this right here for every single system. I think we have 11 systems that you have to know. On some of the slides, I went ahead and typed in a couple of things, or I might have found the picture for you, so you don't have to do every single one every single time. Okay, I went ahead and did some of it for you. But what your job is, on slide number 1 of the virtual notebook, there is a handout link. It'll say this handout in big letters. You're going to click on that, open that up. Okay, you're going to have your virtual notebook open up over here. You're going to have that. You're going to have the link opened up over here. And what you're going to do is you're going to look at what I have in the handout, and you're going to summarize it on your virtual notebook. Okay, so instead of me coming up here telling you every single system, you're going to do it yourself. Okay, and you're going to need that to do the next 2 days assignments. Okay, so you cannot do anything else until you do that virtual notebook. All right, so this is season 2. Okay, we're about to be in a new 6 weeks. We're in a new unit. Okay, so let's make sure that we are doing what we need to do to keep on trucking, keep on doing what we need to do to make sure that STAR test and everything else is in your brain and that you've got it. Okay, all right, get to it.